my name is Gabe Zollner. This is the 19th of December 2017. What did we hear yesterday? Well, we heard a lot. One of the things that we heard is that the president of ESPN, John Skipper, he stepped down. He resigned due to drug addiction. How many times have you heard me say that we need to have our members of Congress and the Senate tested for drugs, both legal, illegal, and alcohol abuse? I went ahead and I did some Googling, and I was trying to determine the percentage of Americans that are addicted to drugs, both legal, illegal, and alcohol. And I couldn't find anything real current, so this goes back to 2011, and I think that there's been a dramatic increase since then. But what this says is that addiction is more common than many realize. There were approximately 20.5 million people in the United States over the age of 12 with an addiction in 2011. And what's scary is that most people don't get treatment. Back again in 2011, 100 people die every day from drug overdose. This rate has tripled in the past 20 years. So can we assume that it's gone up as well over the past 6 years? Over 5 million emergency room visits in 2011 were drug related. 2.6 million people with addictions have a dependency on both alcohol and illicit drugs. 9.4 million people in 2011 reported driving under the influence of illicit drugs. 6.8 million people with an addiction have a mental illness. You mean like Nancy Pelosi? Or how about Maxine Waters, huh? Rate of illicit drug use is highest among those ages 18 to 25. Over 90% of those with an addiction began drinking, smoking, or using illegal drugs before the age of 18. And what I want to highlight here is marijuana statistics. And the reason that is that whenever I talk about marijuana, I get attacked. I have said countless times that it's a gateway drug. I know because I was born in 1944. I grew up in the 60s when marijuana was first on the scene. Now here's something that's interesting. The rate of marijuana use are mostly responsible for the increase in the use of illicit drugs in the United States over the past years. Let me repeat that. The rate of marijuana use are mostly responsible for the increase in the use of illicit drugs in the United States over the past years. Now, we've got our senators and our congressmen, and we've got local state senators that allow marijuana to be sold legally in, I think, 8 states now. You might want to rethink the use of legal marijuana. The rate of marijuana use are mostly responsible for the increase in the use of illicit drugs in the United States. What more do you need to know? Marijuana is the most common illicit drug used for the first time. Approximately 7,000 people try marijuana for the first time every day. This is back in 2011. Out of the 2.6 million people who have tried marijuana for the first time, over half were under the age of 18. The majority of youth aged 12 to 17 do not perceive a great risk from smoking marijuana. Marijuana had the highest rate of dependency out of all illicit substances in 2011. So, you might want to ask your local state representative if this is such a good idea. And then it goes on to cocaine statistics. heroin statistics, prescription drug statistics. You need to really ask yourself a question. Do you think that out of the 535 members in our Senate and Congress, none of them have issues of dependency? Because I sure as hell don't. Right, Nancy Pelosi? Huh? Right, Maxine Waters? And I'm not just trying to center them out. There's a whole lot that are screwed up. Folks, it's not going to happen by itself. Write to the White House, call the White House, email the White House. We have a right to know whether or not the folks that represent us are mentally and emotionally and physically capable of doing so. Senator John McCain is not. He has brain cancer. But he's not alone. Many of them don't function properly due to drug abuse or alcohol abuse, and they are the lawmakers. Do your own research. And I'm really tired of people telling me that marijuana is not a gateway drug, when statistically it's proven to be exactly that. And these states that allow it don't give a squat about their citizens. All they care about is money. Thanks for listening. Do your own research. Don't just believe me.